Hello and welcome to Kickstarter Talk, the July 4th week edition. My name is Mr. Anderson and I am the voice of the Written Sins Network. Today we're going to have our usual list that we're going to go over. We're going to do a couple new things that we've started in Written Sins that are going to help Kickstarters. And we're going to, maybe if we have time, talk about how great America is. 241 years this week. So we're going to check everything out. We're going to see what we can do. And we're going to try to get through this very quickly, the list. So if you're just watching for the list, you're going to get the list right away. And then from there, we'll move on and we'll slowly dissect and talk about different Kickstarters. That sound good with everyone? Not that anyone has a choice, but this is what we're doing today. Let us begin with the list, the Kickstarter list. Okay, this week we got cute. We said, be the fuel to get these Kickstarters to blast off. How awesome is that? We're sending out some shares now. Oh, there we go. Toothville. Now, Toothville's only got a little bit of time left. As of right now, we have 2 hours. We're going to talk about it more, but you're running out of time. The number keeps going up and down. It had funded a little while ago. I don't know what happened. We're going to try to make sure by the end of the program it's funded. So help me out with that. Toothville is an exciting second issue. For those who didn't get the first issue, don't worry about it. This is your opportunity to now get issue 1 and 2. It's listed in the items line. So if you haven't gotten issue 1, you can get issue 1 through this Kickstarter. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Second up, we have our pick of the week. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave pick spelled that way. I'm playing with it, see if I like it or not. Not exactly sure. The Killer Bees, high-flying comics and tag team style. Fantastic thing. For those who like the Nikolai, for those who are wrestling fans, those who are autobiography nuts, who like to see how things began and how they came to be, this is the comic book for you. We're going to talk about that more in a minute. Let's talk about autism and how we're all being affected by it these days. And affected, we should also be knowledgeable about it if we're going to be affected about it. And that's what the R4 Autistic Jedi campaign is doing. They have an R4 unit that has gotten the permission from Lucas and Disney to be called an R4. So they're official. They're going to be going around from con to con. And they just got back from Magic Con. We hope to be hearing from Melissa. I hope she shows up to the show. I told her 2 o'clock. I'm running a little late. I know everyone who does cons knows the day after is usually rough. We usually don't even do the program today. We're only doing the program today because tomorrow's July 4th, so it's off of its normal day, Tuesday. We didn't want to do it on July 4th because we want everyone to be out enjoying themselves and spending good time. But before you go out drinking and enjoying and doing whatever you do July 4th, don't blow off your hands or anything like that. Spend some money to help get some of these Kickstarters off of Kickstarters into your hand. Be their fuel, be their explosive power. Every dollar counts. Let me tell you, every one of these Kickstarters that we announced today, I will be donating $1 to, guaranteed. We're going to be doing it. I think that we may be live during this. You know, how cool would that be? We're definitely rocking it. $1 matters too because it's also the count of how many people believe in you, and we'll talk more about that as we go on. The Night has returned to Kickstarter with a second issue. I loved issue number 1, and I've already gotten to read issue number 2. You guys are in for a great story. I can't wait for issue number 3. Join in the epic journey of the Night as things get more complicated and complex as he faces off against a group he might not be able to beat. Even worse is the mastermind behind this new group of baddies knows more about him than he even knows about himself. While you're on Kickstarter, check out the Year of the Goat, which is in its last days. Fantastic runs. Got action figures now. I'm sure issue number 9 is on its way. Just steamrolling these out, but at high quality and doing the right thing. Tom Spellman's doing great with this franchise. This was our pick of the week last week. We're going to check to see if we helped it fund in a few minutes. This is about love and redemption through violence and misery. Never forget the veterans. We're talking about today being July 4th. July 4th is a very important holiday for everyone who is in America, or even the world for that matter, considering the reach America's had over the last couple of years. Whether you like what's currently going on or not in our country, the one thing you can never forget is to support our veterans. The veterans don't make policy. The veterans, both active military and the veterans, are just serving or have served the country and deserve our respects as such. please keep in mind that, you know, no matter what's going on in the world today, it doesn't stop people from needing our support. And I really do hope that all of you guys do the right thing and help out them by doing programs like the Veterans Wife program. The Veterans Wife, what they do is they go to different cons and they actually, you know, they make these newsletters. They have a subscription for the magazine. They give out passes to events. They do fantastic things. I couldn't be more proud to be talking about this on a weekly basis. It is definitely a project you want to be part of, especially if you're an American who lives in America. It's our duty as the civilians who didn't serve to protect those who did serve and support them when they get home and help them through whatever they might need, whether it's medical, even emotional support, or even jobs, or just supporting their creative efforts. So please do take the time today or during this week of July 4th and check this out. We're cross-stitching our way to horror in this horror creation stitch fantastic Kickstarter from SourcePoint. It's based on The Evil Dead, which we really haven't hyped that much. That's right. The movie Evil Dead is awesome. The show is awesome. And this is actually taking Evil Dead to a Stitch level. Please check it out. It's fantastic. I've actually been bad. I haven't backed it yet, not because of any reason, but because I'm always doing something. I always mean to back it. Maybe I'll back it on the program today. I am going to back it. The Nightmare Kill Facets, a comic anthology. This literally has one of the longest lists of creators that you can have. Took me forever to make the list. It's a fantastic thing. I know I'm saying facets wrong. It's not facets. I can't say that word for some reason lately. It's gotten in my head. You all know what I mean if you're reading the screen. Blister. We got something cool for Blister coming up in the program. A rad punk comic book about growing up in the 90s. Who doesn't know the 90s? And who doesn't remember? Well, if you don't remember the 90s, you're probably a lot younger than me. But I remember the 90s, and I love the 90s. I just saw that Zima came back. So you can actually go out, get a Zima, back this Kickstarter, and then drink the Zima while reading this. If anyone gets that reference, this book is for you. We are always excited to hear about Kickstarters that deal with social issues as well as telling a great story. So please do back the Light Chasers, which definitely dives into the idea of there being these pre-existing notions of who we are based on what we look like. And I think that's an important comic book in itself. Plus, it's got cool superhero and great art. So check it out. Alter Life is back for issue number 3 of 5. That's right. It keeps steamrolling on. Great stuff. Looks like there's going to be a bit of a turn in this book, which would you expect from the middle of the book. This is the moment where we have a reveal or something big happens. This is the time to get involved. This is that project that the creator would not give up on, came back strong, and has been doing a great job. We're going to have some cool stuff of his coming out right after July 4th that we're excited about. We're going to be talking more about that in the show a little later. The Healer just added today. I'm not really sure totally what it's about. The thing we have right now in a world where monsters infect the innocent with plagues of sickness, a young woman in Enid will use her skills to heal and fight back. So that's, I mean, I put it together. That's the first I'm really knowing it. It doubled for some reason, so don't ignore that. A comic book about cats sent into space. That's kind of weird, right? Sure. Cats sent into space. Gotcha. And that's real. I mean, like, I know it sounds goofy and all that, but France actually turns out that they did it. Kind of interesting, right? You didn't expect that. You didn't expect that to actually be true, did you? But yeah, it is. And this doesn't necessarily tell the exact story verbatim, but it takes the idea and tells a wonderful story. It's done in a black and white, which kind of makes sense during the time. Look at this amazing Kickstarter. It's Jax the Anderson. Now, we've talked a lot about it. We'll talk a lot about it again. What I just want to stress about it, and this quick, for those who only watch the list really quickly, this is about imagination, creativity, and being passed down from generation to generation. This is about showing a child it's okay to have an imagination, and that keeping an imagination can pay off. Something I think we're forgetting in our society is arts programs and music programs disappear. It becomes more and more on us parents to make sure the creativity doesn't die. Speaking of not dying, it's fight of the century, where in the future, human beings are made into war machines using genetics and probably, I would assume, some sort of implants all over their body, because it's cyberpunk related and it's cyberpunk graphic novel, which means they definitely have augmentation. And finally, we ask this, and we're going to ask it again: are you one of us? And we're going to ask that, are you someone who's tired of all the reboot? Are you tired of the bullshit? Are you tired of the same Spider-Man #1 being made over and over again? Do you want new content? Well, the indie market is exactly where it's at. And Written Sins covers the indie market and brings you all that cool stuff so you don't have to go searching for it. So if you're tired of all that and you want new content, then you are one of us. All it takes is subscribing to our YouTube channel, subscribing to our Facebook page and group, and subscribing directly to the site to join the almost 18,000 sinners, creators, and fans on writtensins.com. All right, let's take a deep breath. We're done with our list. Now let's start getting into some cool stuff. We're going to start off brand new. Just put this up as we went on air. This is 7 Deadly Questions, Kickstarter questions for Blister, a rad punk rock comic about growing up in the 90s. This is about Blister. Blister's a comic book about a time period that I grew up in and I'm very fond of. We're now doing something called the 7 Deadly Kickstarter questions. Now, many of you know right away the 7 Deadly Questions are our interview for our regular creators. Guess what? We turned it on its head, and now we're giving the Kickstarters a chance at the 7 Deadly Questions, and we thought this was a way for you creators to, and fans and sinners who are watching the program, to kind of get a feel for what's going on. So with that in mind, we're actually going to spend some time today, and I'm going to happily go over all the answers from Eric. Eric also had someone else join, I think, at one point. Yeah, Jim. Jim actually shows up, produced the title track, or Jim didn't show up, but there's a different name. So this is kind of cool. So let's figure this out. What is your goal, and why was that goal amount? He said that my goal was 1,000. 1,000 was short of a challenge to me. It's not a lot of money in terms of creating a comic book and a typical comic book on Kickstarter, but it's quite a bit of money than I have ever sought on a platform. I knew to raise that much money, I would have to force myself to find an audience. Most people could beg their family and friends for a few $100s, but 1,000 was going to require going out to the places that my potential fans are and interacting with them. Perfect reason to use Kickstarter. That's it right there. That's why we go to Kickstarter. Very well said, Eric. Eric then went on to say, when we asked him, why is the project important to you? Or WS said him, for WS's credit. Eric said, Blister is a project I've been working on for the better part of a decade. I wrote the novel in 2015 and released it later that year. I got a ton of great feedback, which was exciting. They say, write what you know. So with the book, I dug deep into my past experiences, used to sculpt a lot of the situations and feelings and characters encounter. Using those experiences turned into a very personal experience. Very cool, very cool. So like this book's got soul. Why go through Kickstarter? Kickstarter is powerful. I've done a couple for 2 other projects, so it was comfortable. Also, Kickstarter is the most popular, so more people browse on it. And if you send it to people, there's a good chance the person has used it before. That's a good point. Kickstarter is one of those things where if I say Kickstarter, people know what I'm talking about. I talk about Indiegogo or GoFundMe, people are like, what are those? And I kind of almost feel like GoFundMe and Indiegogo aren't great platforms for comic books necessarily. I do think, to Kickstarter's credit, they're the best platform right now for Kickstarters to get funding. So credit to Kickstarter. What makes your Kickstarter stand out? What makes your Kickstarter stand out? Eric, I think I put together a very honest product. There's a ton of science fiction and superhero stuff out there, but there's not a lot of comic books like Blister. So while it might not have the demand a genre like sci-fi has, I do believe it has an unserved fan base. Very good point. Very good point. So what I love about the indie market's not catering to people. They're writing great stories. And we just know in our hearts, we know in our bones that there are people out there waiting for that story. And Kickstarter helps us find those people. So well said, Eric. How important are your stretch goals? I love this question. I think oftentimes stretch goals are just made to milk people and pull in more money. Maybe there's nothing wrong with that. The idea of Kickstarter is to get money. I just like the idea of greatly adding to the product. So my first stretch goal is adding bookmarks and stickers. Honestly, that's not a very big deal. But the second stretch goal was so big that I felt like I needed a goal in between it. The second goal is a record of music EP of the Blister Blend and give it to every single backer in the digital format. Jim Steinakis, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize, from the Bigger Empty and the Sketch Middle, produced the title track as Blister for the graphic novel released last year, and we're bringing him back to finish the Bad Hand EP from the book. On that track, Jim is joined by Mike Flaminu of Smoking Popes and Ruben Braid, Sketch Middle. I added that track to the recent update on Kickstarter at www.blister.com. WS asked his final question: if you saw this project pretending it wasn't yours, what do you think of it, or how would you react to it, and why? Oh my God, I love it. Setting aside how much of it personally linked to me, I love music and comics and punk rock. I'd be all in. And that's kind of, I like that question that we're asking there. And we need to reword it, obviously, because it's not coming off right. And there's a bit of a gap. So we'll change the wording for future reference. I think that I didn't catch it when I did my own. That's important because I do think sometimes creators don't get to tell you how passionate they're about a project. And right there, you get to know right now that he would buy this. And that's kind of important, I think. He's not selling you something. And there are a lot of Marvel DC artists and writers that I've talked to who would not buy what they're creating or were creating a few months ago or a year ago. Things are changing, I think, positively at Marvel and DC. Giving them credit, hats off to them. They have been making adjustments, especially DC. DC is nailing it. But keeping that in mind, very excited that we get to ask that question and see the passion of a creator and him talking about, like, oh my God, I would totally buy that comic book. That's awesome. I want to be more part of this now because I know that. And finally, we ask for the elevator pitch, which is Blister is like Wonder Years for the 90s punk rock age. It's a coming-of-age story of two kids that are in a punk rock band. I think it oozes with punk rock attitude and is right with teen angst. And it's fucking hilarious. Check out the preview at www.blisterpunk.com and pledge today. And then we have some cool graphics. So now, don't you feel like, I mean, I do these shows all the time. I do this show every week. And I don't think that until I came up with this necessary line of questions was I ever really able to answer what a Kickstarter is really well, unless I knew the creator and I'd been talking to the creator. This gave me an instant feel right now of exactly what I'm expecting, and I already backed it. So I feel like I'm a genius now for backing it because I think I did the right thing by backing this project because I hear how passionate he is. Now, we started it. I did my own. I'm not going to read mine. You can find it on writtensins.com, and I've already added it to the Kickstarter for Jax. I'm just showing that this is going to be implemented across the board. Remember before I told you that we had something big coming from the Afterlife campaign? They have already done it. We are just waiting for after July 4th to release it because I know at the holiday things could get lost and the shuffle. So we didn't want to put too much content before the holiday, but Jax Anderson has done it. I want everyone to do it who's on Written Sins. That's how excited I am about this program. I'm really excited about it going forward. I really do think that us talking about Kickstarters more, because I do think this is what's going to separate the people using Kickstarter as a business versus people who are using it for creative purposes. And I think the passion will show in these questions. I do think, as always, that if you cut something down, you make it simple, and you make people answer simple questions, you get a better understanding and feeling for who they are. That's the point of this. And we saw it work with their interviews. So I'm very excited to translate it to the Kickstarters now. Now, Toothville, we're down to 2 hours. Let's see if anything's changed in the time that we've been on air. It has gone back to funded. Definitely get on this right now, guys, if you can. I think Facebook is still open. So what I'm going to do, or I can just do it from here, as always, I'm going to ask everyone share this right now because they're so close and they're teetering between funded and not funded. See, there it goes again. Like there's just something weird going on with this Kickstarter today. I don't know if it's Kickstarter itself, but we'll check it and you see it. It's shifting. And I don't know what's up with that. So do me a favor, share this with your friends. Let's make sure it stays funded on the funded end. It just changed again. I think there's someone literally out there playing with it. But Toothville, we're going to take a quick look at the video. There weren't really any words. I'm just going to show you some cool art that came from it. I'll turn off the music, not just so I can talk. Nothing wrong with the music. I just want to talk as we're looking at this. I mean, the art in it, it's starting for only $1. I personally think they're undervaluing the product. I think that it's worth a lot more that they're asking for. That's just my personal opinion. You know, it's very hard. I always look at Kickstarter as a way to help, and I think that when I'm donating money, I truly understand. You hear Jackson in the background. He must be watching Paw Patrol. But I truly think Kickstarter is our opportunity to support creators. And yes, sometimes you pay a little bit more for something, but don't you pay more for your shoes? Do you think your shoes really cost what you're paying for it? Do you think DVDs really cost $20 to make? You're not paying for the product. You're paying for what goes into the product. And the argument about DC and Marvel does not apply. So, I mean, something like this, I think they should have charged more. And I think that, you know, realistically, you guys are going to get a steal for the prices they're giving. They're giving the issue for about $4. I mean, you know, any dollar amount counts. I think that their book, like, I feel bad. I might go in and pledge more money because I actually feel bad when I pledge today. So, let me see. While we're on here, let's help them out. I'm gonna manage my pledge, and we're gonna. Ooh, no one look at all my stuff. I'm gonna change my. Oh, I can't change my pledge because if I do that, well, I'll change it in a bit as soon as I get off this. Because if I do it now, it's gonna interfere with the video. We had that last week, so we're not gonna do that this week. But I'm gonna definitely change, and I'm gonna stay on top. As soon as I get off the video, I'll make sure to do this. But we're gonna move on, and we're gonna look back at this when we're getting towards the end of the program. We'll see where we're at. We're at 6:50 right now, so we're on the fence. We're going to want to make sure that we help this. There's 100 minutes to go, so stressful times on Kickstarter. Killer Bees. It is the high-flying comics in tag team style. This is the comic biography of pro wrestling team the Killer Bees, based on interviews with B. Brian Blair and Jumping Jim Brunzel. So if you're a wrestling fan, you might notice that I shouldn't be a ring announcer. But you also are pretty familiar with who the Killer Bees are. They definitely have an interesting storied past. Got a lot of people coming. I think Lenny's going to be great. The Hacksaw Jim Duggan project they got going on. These are all the wrestling comics that are coming. You got the Fantastics. You got the Nikolai for those. Wait a minute. What's up? Melissa just said it's not 2, Rob. Wait a minute. Are we in 2 different time zones? It is 2 o'clock here, isn't it? I swear to God, I think it's 2 o'clock. Are you in a different time zone than me, Melissa? Are you not in Eastern? Have you hit the 3 o'clock? Or is that what it is? Are you at 3 p.m.? Because I'm on Eastern time. It's 2 p.m. I thought you were with me at 2 p.m. I just thought you were tired. If you're listening, I have the links. Jump on right now. It is 2 o'clock where I am, I promise. I'll actually show you. See my little screen up here? It actually does say 2 o'clock. It's actually 2:42. So I promise. I didn't realize you were in different time zones. I never realized that. That's kind of weird. We're not that far apart, actually. Yeah, she says it's 1:42 at hers. Okay, there. I didn't realize that. That's always weird how our times are different in America. Like you could drive over a line and suddenly you're in this weird new time zone and it's an hour away. Luckily, I haven't faced that in my life yet, but I will as I move to the other side. I guess I'm going to be experiencing some of that next year with some of the shows I go to in Texas, because I think Texas has that, right, Melissa? Texas? Because I know you're in Alabama and you're right near Texas, so that's got to be different. But back to the Killer Bees. The Killer Bees, once again, and I love when creators do this. Kudos to creators who do this. And Melissa, if you want to come back at 2 o'clock, we'll talk about your con experience. That'll be 3 o'clock for me. We'll talk about your con experience. So jump on it too, and we'll definitely talk about it. Why Kickstarter? So I love this. As independent creators with limited access to mainstream comic market, we mark on Kickstarter.
Jump on it too.
Whoa. To fund productions in print. I think Melissa just jumped on. Hey, Melissa, we'll be with you in a minute.
Hey, Rob.
Just want to finish this. And printing of the comics to make them available to the comic buying public. We have led 25 previous successful Kickstarters campaigns for the comic project. We have experienced and reliable creators and purveyors of comics via Kickstarter. And I said that word wrong, but deal with it. You will get what you pledge for and get it quickly. That is true. They always deliver very quickly. Them and Colton, Sorrells and his brother, they always deliver the Tits comic very quickly. Very impressive. But we're going to take a minute. We're going to switch gears and we're going to talk to Melissa. Melissa, how you doing?
Hey, Rob. How are you?
Little sore, but I know you're sore too. You just got back from Magic City Con, right?
Yes, I'm tired, but I figured I'd jump on here for just a minute or two with you.
So tell us, how was the event? How did it go for R4AU, Autism Awareness?
It went fantastic for us. There were so many wonderful cosplayers that were there, the vendors. Jamie and Rita, the two ladies that organized Magic City Con, they did a fantastic job this year. Fantastic job.
All right, and I'm going to call up your page because I know that you had a bunch of pictures, right?
Yes, I was able to take a few. This was actually our very first fan table, vendor table. Some cons call it different things, but so I wasn't able to walk around and see. There's Tori on her way to her appearance, her little meet and greet that she did with some of the people that came out, wanted to see her. Yeah, she thought she was a movie star right there.
Kind of is a rock star.
She did very, very well. Very, very well. She was able to stay for I guess maybe about 3 or 4 hours, which is a lot more than I expected. And she seemed to enjoy herself. She met a couple of friends, and there was quite a few people that came up to the booth that, you know, were asking what we were there for and what we were doing. And she kind of, you know, took control and told them that she was there for R4 and for autism awareness. I was very proud of her, very proud of her.
And now for those who are listening who don't understand the significance of that, Melissa, just explain it to them why it was such a big thing that she stayed for 3 to 4 hours.
Well, Tori is autistic, and that, you know, if you go to our Facebook page, which is Autism Awareness R4AU, you'll see a lot. You'll see a lot about her story. She also has her own website that tells more about her. She is borderline autistic, but she's always struggled with the communication, and you see the fantastic signature right there on the head of R4. Chris was very excited about that. But she's never been very outgoing as far as meeting new people. She's not shy. It was never really her thing. So when we created R4, that was the initial purpose, was for her to be able to go with us to these conventions and maybe open up a little more. And I think we reached our goal this weekend, because she, like I said, she met a few friends, and you can see Ray there. I believe she's a member of the Rebel Legion in Alabama, the 501st Alabama Garrison. But Tori had a fantastic time. She did her own little photo shoot, and from my understanding, the photographer said that she was a natural Jedi with R4 and her lightsaber.
Now, the actual Star Wars story is a very cute one. Can you just quickly tell us about how she got into Star Wars and how it became a big thing for her?
It was really a thing between her and her dad. Everybody, we wanted her, you know, to be able, like I said, to go to the cons with us and kind of be into the same things that we were. And Chris was in the living room watching a Star Wars movie, and she come in there and she said, "Dad, what are you watching?" He said, "I'm watching Star Wars." And she said, "Well, who was that with the lightsaber?" And Chris said, "Well, that's Luke Skywalker." She said, "I like him. He's cute." From then on, she wanted to be a Jedi. So when we were asking about what colors that she wanted for her outfit, she said that she wanted it Luke Skywalker. She wanted to be him. So that's how she got the name, the Autistic Jedi. And that was kind of it started as a nickname between her and her dad, but it went further after that.
And obviously, it's now come into, for those who aren't aware, just joining us, because I know we get new people all the time, that's actually the R4 unit that you guys officially have the rights to use. Am I right about that?
Yes, correct.
And now, how did that come to be? That's got to be a great story.
Well, we wanted to do an autism walk in Atlanta through Autism Speaks, which is our charity, our chosen charity that we donate to. And in order for us to be able to participate, we had to get the approval of the 501st Georgia Garrison in order for us to participate with R4. So I actually had to contact Lucasfilms. I had fan relations, and that's how we got the approval, was through Lucasfilms.
Now that's awesome, and that's a full-size automated R2D2 unit that's been renamed and repurposed to help autism awareness. And you guys have been going all over this summer. Like you guys have been hitting malls.
Non-stop, yeah.
Yeah, and didn't you visit a hospital? Am I wrong about that?
Or we have not been able to visit any hospitals as of yet. That's going to be our next step. But I know it's a big process that we're going to have to go through. So I haven't even started it yet. But we're going to be going.
Now that's fantastic. What you guys do is amazing. And you guys just got new patches in. How did those sell at the event? Because I know that we're going to be carrying them at our table too to help you guys out. How did they sell this weekend?
This is the new patch for the ones that it's on our page. For those of you that have not seen it, this is the new patch. This is Tori digitally depicted as close as possible to a Jedi holding an R2 unit or her R4 unit. And you can see the lightsaber. I don't know if you can see it right here, but it's on there. They sell pretty well. Towards the end of the con, we actually did a combo where you would get a patch and 2 decals of your choice for a specific price. But they sell pretty well. A lot of people were wanting the decals. They were wanting the decals more than the patches for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if it's because it's summertime. No, and a lot of people put these patches on, their con jackets or their vests and stuff like that. And it's summertime, and they don't want to wear, they don't wear their jackets and vests. I'm not exactly sure what the problem was, but anyway, they enjoyed it, and they thought it was a very, very, very cute idea, and they liked it. They just wanted the decal more, but we still have some if anybody wants one.
I just think that's laziness. No one knows how to sew anymore.
Yeah. Well, they are iron-on, and I don't know whether a lot of people, I guess, when I do the patch run post, I need to be putting that you can iron them on. They just the iron just has to be at a very high temp.
Well, there you go. Now you guys know, so you can put it easily on. No sewing required. How cool is that? No sewing. But I mean, it looked like a great event. I'm sorry I didn't make it. I never got anything back about press, and I had a con myself this weekend. But we're going to meet up at Dragon Con in Atlanta. Yes, we sure are. Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to plan it. And I've been going back and forth with all my plans. Like it. Yeah. I know how you feel getting back from a con today. It is exhausting to do cons. I'm exhausted. Yeah. And for those who are just fans watching the program right now, I mean, I've done a fan con and I've been at a con for a fan. I've done them for press and I've done them for tables. It's more when you're not there as a fan. 'Cause when you're there as a fan, when you want to leave and just go have fun, you can leave and go have fun.
Yeah.
It's not the same way when you have a table, you're doing a press junket. You have to run around and try to keep up, and it's exhausting. It really is exhausting.
It is. And you know, when you're a cosplayer going and, you know, versus an actual vendor or table, you know, whatever, like I said, cons call it different things, but it's a whole different ball of wax. Yeah. So, but I mean, we had a really good time, and we met some really cool people that were really excited about what we were doing. We met a lot of cosplayers that are in our area that we did not know were there. So, you know, we extended our cosplayer community.
Well, that is awesome that you guys got that opportunity. And I know Christopher, who's also attached to the program, makes a lot of the props. So
yes.
Fantastic too. I know that there it is. That's some of Chris's work right there on what he can do. So Christopher's awesome. You guys are great for what you're doing. And here are just some more of those pictures, the signature.
Yeah.
From that. So I mean, you guys look like you had fun. I saw this today. Is that actually him in it?
Yes, that is him. Yes, that's Chris. That is the Locust from Gears of War. He's able to stay in it for about an hour and a half tops, and that just depends on where he's at. Him and his friend, he bought that or did a trade with one of his friends, and then Chris did some modifications on it. So, we actually, we had that on a stand behind the booth this weekend. So, but that's an amazing costume, and it's huge. It makes him about 6.5 foot tall.
Wow. That looks. I don't know if I could, even before my back got hurt, I don't know if I had the patience for that. That looks heavy and it looks very hot. I learned from cosplaying Batman, and this was years ago before they called it cosplaying, and I was just referred to as dressing up. Putting a costume on. I remember Batman, the costume is surprisingly hot as hell. You wouldn't think, but especially the cowl. The cowl is very suffocating. That's why when I thought it was funny in Batman Returns, when the Dark Knight came out and he talked about moving his head left to right, I was like, he's exactly right. Like, that's so annoying wearing a costume.
It is. He has pretty good movement in this. He can't really see. He can see, but he can't. He has no peripheral vision, so he has to have a spotter if he does long distances or, you know, stairs or whatever. He didn't stay in it that long. It was really hot this weekend. I think he suited up about 3 times. He did the parade, and then he just walked around a little bit, but about an hour and a half tops. And even then he was pretty exhausted when he got out because just sweating so much.
Oh, I'm sure. All right, Melissa, if you want to feel free to take off and go relax. I know you're tired. I know you're exhausted.
I am.
Go relax. I'm going to finish the list, and then I'm probably going to go take a nap myself.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for coming on, and anything we can do to help autism awareness, and you guys, we're here.
All right. Thanks, Rob. See you later.
Later. All right, guys. Great to have Melissa on the show. Let's get back to the Kickstarters because I know that's what you guys come for too. So we're going to move on. We were at Killer Bees. We're going to move on to night number 2. Now, like I said, I did the review for night number 1 back in, I want to say 2 months ago when I was just hearing about it. So I wound up getting the book of Nightmares Coming Up, of night number 2. I've already read it. It is fantastic, guys. You guys are in for a treat. There's only 24 hours to go. It's well on its way to being funded. It really just comes down to right now, you guys getting on board and being part of this. It is a great story. I suggest, if anything, if you're on the fence and you don't know if you really want it, see, I'm getting a physical copy because I've only read them digitally and I hate that, so I'm getting it. But if you actually come here for $10, you can get both of them. How fantastic is that? I really do suggest this. I think this is the way to go. I'm thrilled with this book, and I don't. Remember, I'm not part of this. I don't owe anyone any favors. When I'm telling you guys this, it's because I believe in what I'm saying. So when I tell you that I think this is a fantastic book, I assure you that it is a fantastic book, in my opinion. Now, of course, we could differ in opinions because everyone's different, and I get that. But what I can tell you is it's a solid book. It's a good story. It moves well, and it's got great art. That's really all you can ask for beyond individual taste. And I can't go over individual taste without you reading it. So you have to give it a chance now to see those individual tastes. There's no other way around it. So if you're going to listen to me, this is one of those times where you're going to listen and you're going to hear me and you're going to realize that I'm telling you this is a project that's worth the effort. You know, that's all I can do for you guys. The art is there. The story is there. I want to see how it ends. I can't wait for the next issues to come out because I know there's at least 2 or 3 more. I really want to know how the story wraps up. This is just one of those things where, I mean, you're running out of time. You only got a day. If you want to take a chance, now's the time to take a chance. But remember, a dollar matters. Remember we were talking about a dollar matters? Now let's talk about why a dollar matters. Okay, so 22 hours, 43 backers. 43 backers doesn't sound like a lot, and I'm not trying to get down on them. 43 backers, trust me, I'd love right now for Jackson Anderson. So it's a good number. But when people look at it, they're going to be like, oh, 43. Now here, just mentally think about this right now, right? If I say 43, you're like, If I say 50, and that's only 7 people more. If I say 50, 50 sounds a little more legitimate, doesn't it? It's only 7 people more, but there's something about the word 50. And that's what backing does. Even if 7 of you who are watching this program, and I get probably about 100 views on this, probably somewhere around 50 to 100 more on YouTube. And then the certain places where you guys wind up playing these videos where I don't get credit for it. So 200 people view this. If just 7 of the 200 wind up doing that, wind up watching this, wind up doing it and giving it just $1, we get to raise that amount to 50. And that's what I want to see this end at if we can. Let's get the backer number to 50. So that means if you guys have $1 to spare, this is what you need to do. Help with that. That's kind of cool. I never knew it did that. I just learned that. I'm going to start using that more in the videos. So that's definitely the way to go with this. You're the GOAT. Doesn't even need my help. Constantly doing this. It's like a machine now. See, 101 backers. Doesn't 101 backers sound legitimate, right? And that's very good. And that's what I think that you want to aim, that there are 2 tiers where you really want to begin with. You want to get at least 50 if you're a lower grade Kickstarter, about 1,000 or less. Less, I mean, depending, like $500 Kickstarter, you want to hit at least 25. For 1,000, you want at least 50. For 2,000 and above, you want 100 backers, and in between 1,000 and 2,000, you want about 75. Because that just it adds an air of legitimacy to your comic book, and like it or not, those numbers matter. I don't make them matter. It's not something that I'm choosing to try to make them matter. It just is. It is what it is. Sorry, I just looking at a message I just got. Nothing important. Just it distracted me. I apologize. So yeah, you're the GOAT. Fantastic thing. They've got the action figures that I've been talking about it for weeks now. Fantastic alternate covers, all the great stuff. Next on our list, we have. Okay, so they're a bit shy. 5 days to go. We're gonna watch the video again and try to help them out. Now, one of the cool things I like about that is the art behind it. And we're just, last week we kind of heard the beginning of this. So
hey guys, Brent.
Let's hear the end of it.
And we won't be able to share this amazing comic with you guys. So please, like, every dollar counts. And just know Kickstarter won't charge your pledge until after the campaign is over, and it won't put a hold on any of the funds on your card. So if something happens, you know, in real life, you guys need it, you can always pull it back. You know, no harm, no foul. There's no risk for you guys at all. If you're visiting for the first time, though, and you feel this project is worthwhile to you, you know, please go find your favorite tier and just go nuts. You know, if you're a returning backer, you know, consider upgrading. We've still got tons of upper tiers available, and you know, it's just we've still got so much room to improve. You know, so just remember to share this with your friends, family, and coworkers. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter down below. Thank you so much for your support, guys, and please, you know, help us make Here a reality. Thanks.
You can hear Jax and my wife are arguing over nap time in the back, and somehow Jax just turned on his videos to the living room. So it's nap time, and he's getting cranky, which, you know, most 2-year-olds get cranky at their nap time. I get cranky if I don't get my nap time because I'm old now. Definitely try back in that project. Remember we talked about the Evil Dead? Ooh. Okay. So I can back the project now and make it official. So let's do that. We're going to back this project and we're going to make it funded. The complete book, the book of the thread plus 4 patterns, digital source point press pack, the book of thread, the physical copy. I think just right, I'm going to read this more later. But just for right now, because I want them over, I'm going to do the digital source point one. And I'm going to go with my other payment options so we don't end it. Don't steal the last 4 digits of my charge cards, people. Be nice. Don't put anything weird on my charge cards. All right. And, well, it needs 500 more. Apparently, I can't read. But still, I'm happy to be a backer. And I'm going to share this while we're online. Come on board, guys. It's fantastic. That reminds me of that. Who's that guy? I forgot his name. I love him. The guy with the glasses. He's so quirky with the way he talks about fashion and all that. Shit, I can't think of his name. But I love watching all the shows he's on. He's always very, like, you know, he's very honest and blunt. I kind of respect him for that. Oh, it's going to bother me that I can't know his name. I think if we watch another video, I'm going to spend the time to look at his name. Speaking of fantastic, fascists. There we go. I finally can say the word. It's been like a day now since I did a quick video yesterday. Could not say the damn word. All right, let's take a look at, speaking of videos, this would be a perfect time to do a video. All right, so might as well just back the project live again. Since I didn't do it, I'm going to go back and do it. If Kickstarter lets me. Kickstarter, can I back the project? There we go. The digital book and production goodness. Nightmare Kill Facets, copy of scripts, plots. I don't need anything that fancy. Physical book, because it's political, I'm less inclined, honestly, to want a copy of it physically, because the you know, and we've talked about this, politics really no one should be talking about if you're a creator, but making a book like this, as controversial as it is fiction, so you know, it's good, and I want to support the creators. I'm not a huge fan of political stuff, so I'm just going to go with the digital, but I'm supporting it. I'm very happy to be a supporter of it. And, you know, if it comes down to they need more later, I might increase it. But for now, I'm a backer of it because I do think the creators are great. And I like political humor. You know, I just don't think I need it on my bookshelf, if that makes sense. But that might change as I see more. Because, I mean, the more I look at it, the more interesting it does look. And Eric's a great guy. A lot of these guys, Justin's good, Teeny's good, you know, Kate Rex. Kickstarter's just telling me all the things I backed recently. So, I mean, it's definitely a project that's worth it. So easily distracted. You guys got to understand, I have the worst case of ADHD. I'm like a dog. I can get distracted by anything. Anything shiny and I'm done. As I'm proving now as I'm getting off topic. Here we go. Blister. Let's listen to Blister.
It was a strange place to meet a girl for sure. I don't even know why we started talking. The only friend we had in common was laying in a coffin a few feet in front of us at the time. I guess shit like that brings people together.
Blister is the story of these two punk rock kids named Blister and Harvey. Blister is somewhere along the lines of Holden Caulfield sort of character. He just doesn't really take any garbage. It's kind of a smartass. He knows it all, and he'll call you on your bullshit. The story revolves around Blister and his relationship with Harvey.
Harv wouldn't leave me alone about it the next day. So how'd it go, Blister? Second base at least? Nobody says that shit anymore, Harv. Grow up. Harv was perpetually a fifth grader.
Harvey's a little more serious about the future of the band, where Harvey has a singular focus on just promoting the band and making the band stronger. Blister's got other things going on.
I was on stage playing a song I wrote for another girl to impress this new girl in a concert I didn't want to play with this asshole I hated, and that fucker was making out with the girl I was trying to impress. That shit was whack.
Blister's a punk rock band, so punk rock plays into the story pretty heavily. It's not like a punk rock 101 though. It's more about the attitude of the characters.
It's like this when you're a punk. Don't get me wrong, the group is one of the most inclusive out there. But at the same time, fuck everybody. Fuck the establishment. Fuck the cops. Fuck the president. Fuck the mailman. Fuck the village board. Fuck the guy who paints the yellow lines in the parking lot. And if your best friend is being a dick, fuck him too.
Now, I just want to go on record and say that none of the guys who paint the lines on the road were hurt while making that comic book. I reached out to Eric and I made sure that none of those guys were hurt, or girls, because girls, gals, whatever you want to do in 2017. None of them got hurt during the production of that comic book. Obviously, we went over all the stuff with him earlier. It's just it's a fun, good time. I mean, unless you don't have a funny bone, this is going to be something, especially if you grew up in the 90s. See, that's why for me this is a slam dunk, because I grew up, and you can see I'm a backer, and I did the $10, which gets me a physical copy because I want a physical copy, because this is like my childhood. Like when I heard about Zima coming back, I was suddenly like, I haven't drank anything. Like I don't do drinking, I don't do drugs, and I'm not going to go into a speech about you got to, it's your own life. You're all grown. Figure out what you're doing on your own. But I don't do it because I found a way to be happy sober, and I'm a lot happier that way. But I do miss like the 90s and the fact that Zima's coming back. It's almost like maybe just one more bender. Maybe I have one more bender in me. It's just kind of silly. But you hear Zima, and it does take certain things take you back, and sometimes it's nice to look back. And while you're looking back, sometimes you remember, God damn, I don't want anything to do with the past. That was there. I'm glad I survived it. I just don't want to do anything more about it. So Bender's definitely Blister, sorry, I'm thinking Bender. Blister is definitely one of those things that takes you back. But speaking of more important topics than drinking, not Blister, but me and my drinking, is Light Chasers. Check it out.
Hey everyone, my name's Mike, and I am the creator of Light Chasers. My premise for Light Chasers is a simple one. I look around at the world, and historically, and there's a lot of bigotry. There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of, I don't like that guy because of the shade of his skin. I don't like that girl because of her religion or her lack of religion. Some people, crazy enough, they don't like people because of who they love. I draw a lot from the 80s and 90s X-Men comics that I grew up with. And I want to bring that into this modern setting. What would happen if these people started appearing and walking down the street? These people who actually, they look different than everyone else for some reason or another, and they're having powers. What would that mean? How would society react to those people? And how would those individuals react in terms of society? There's going to be some amazing things going on with this universe, and I really hope you enjoy it. So thank you very much for checking out what we have going on. But mostly, thank you just for considering backing this project. For independent creators, crowdfunding is the only way we can get our projects out to the world. So thank you so much just for looking at this and considering Light Chasers.
Now, those of you who follow me really well know that I actually have an anti-bullying piece, one already. There's other things I'm doing that deal with social things like that, but the one that's out there already is available in Sinful Comics. I thought it was pretty good, and so obviously I'm a fan of this stuff. This I deliberately left that I haven't backed yet because I wanted to do on the show. Obviously, I've been backing some things on the show today. I want the comic book. I'm going to support it. I'm going to go to other payment options. And I'm now a proud backer of this program. And then every time you back it, you can easily share it by doing that. And there we go. I'm official. I'm part of the gang. So check me out. Catch me outside. Stupid. But no, I mean, I'm very thrilled to be part of this project. I really can't wait to get it in my hands. I hate reading digital. I love instead reading it in my hands. So this is going to be an what's in the box video coming soon. Alter Life number 3. I don't think we watched this on the program yet, so we're going to take a minute. So that was pretty cool, right? Pretty interesting. Look, I mean, this guy's a very passionate guy. He puts out some of the highest quality stuff I have seen as far as the way he handles himself professionally and the way he talks about his projects. I'm very proud to call him a friend. This is definitely something you want to be behind. I mean, where are we? We're at 2,320 on 5,000, 24 days to go. That's a good process. Definitely be part of it. Healer doesn't have a video. It's just kicking off now. It's like we said, there's an infection that seems to be taking people over. So it's Mortal Kombat. What was the pitch line? It had a pretty cool pitch line. Let's go. I guess it was on our actual site. Let's go all the way back to our list and see if we can find it. And it is, let's see. Oh, it's not here. It said something about the effect. Oh, there it is. Fans of 13th Warner, Mortal Kombat, and Buffy will enjoy this great fantasy adventure about a young woman fighting monsters and spells a supernatural medic in the heavy lore-based comic book from Spain. So this is an international comic book. Definitely something you should be involved in. Capsulated, once again, is about the kiddies going to space. Only French would send pussy to space, but hey, it really happened. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't know France actually sent kiddies to space, but it looks fun. It looks fantastic. We're down to Jax the Anderson at this point, which I'm going to definitely try to... I just want to check in on Toothville and see. So we're back to 650, but I don't know if that's a firm 650. It's been going back and forth. We're going to check back in a minute. And Jax the Anderson, you know what? Let's watch my video. My name is Rob Anderson, and I am usually the voice of WrittenSins.com, but today I am the voice of Jax the Anderson's Kickstarter. It's about the world seen through the eyes of the son of comic book creators. And what that means is this is an opportunity for comic book creators like myself to be able to showcase how creativity and imagination is not necessarily lost by people who continue to create later in life, and how being able to be a person who creates can also inspire your children's imaginations. I think that it's a topic that isn't spoken about a lot, but I do see being so involved in the indie comics culture and on Facebook, how every comic book creator talks very fondly that I know of about their children, how their children also inspire them. And so I think that if we could show how children inspire us and how we inspire children, that'd be a fantastic project. That's why I started this project. And we have begun to create a new world where we can show my son experiencing the world, not only through Comic-Cons, but also discussions that you might not normally have with a father, son, or mother, daughter, that would happen if they weren't comic book creators, because comic book creators kind of keep their head in a creative fashion, and we look at the world a lot differently. And this gives kind of an insight to that, and also tells a very good story, which will have a moral foundation. Now, one of the things that we're most excited about with all the stretch goals, and there are many stretch goals that we're hoping to obtain, one being not only able to fund issue 1, but fund issue 2 in one single Kickstarter. And if we're able to justify the cost through a stretch goal of 2 issues, we are going to be able to put those 2 issues into one book. How that will play out, we'll talk about when we hit that goal. That goal will be $6,000. The bigger goal that we have of hitting that $6,000 is it also begins to switch our gears to book 3. As of right now, in the series, Jax has this first story where he talks about what it means to be a superhero. In the second book, we have Jax making a brand new friend at a Comic-Con, who is going to be our artist, Dave Brown's contributing story of his daughter. So we're excited to have story 2 be about friendship. Now, story 3, as we're planning it right now, is all going to be about creators and their children beyond me and Dave. What that means is we're going to be reaching to do the first of its kind comic book coloring book anthology. So it's going to be an anthology of creators telling stories of their children and how they have inspired their children, or maybe their children have inspired them to be more creative and more imaginative. We are thrilled and excited for you to come along on this project. It is one of its kind because it is going to be really embracing and celebrating imagination. And in this day and age, I think imagination is definitely something we need more of, and especially with our children. I certainly hope you guys come along for the trip. I know it's going to be a great time for me to be part of it, just a creator, but I do sincerely think that everyone can find this book enjoyable, no matter what age you are. I think that if you can read, once you read it and you see all the art and you see all the beauty that is interaction between father and son and friends in book 2 and in book 3, when you see all these creators come together to tell these stories, I think you guys are going to be impressed. And I really do hope you come along for the journey. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And I really do hope that you enjoy the book, because I know that everyone's going to want a copy, and we're more than happy to get it into your hands. So as you guys hear, Jax is joining us on the program right now. He's all crazy because he won't go for a nap like any 2-year-old wouldn't want to be napping. Gave him some chocolate, bribed him to get him to calm down. Then he needed some milk. He's got the patience I do. Now. But while I was doing that, Mike came in and said the Alter Life video rocks. I completely agree. The Alter Life video is better than my video. I might get Cal to do my videos from now on, as a matter of fact. Cal was a great creator, good friend. Like I said, great person. My wife's heading out, so Jack's going to be joining us.
Bye, guys. So
she's working on Fetish Babies 2. She's not part of this project other than giving birth to Jax and being married to me. So this is actually a project without her, even though she has actually got a role in it. That's actually her for you guys watching the video. So the one thing I want to say about this, when we're talking about it, you'll notice, and I've talked a lot about this, I've talked about the costs of what your PDF should go for, and they're all different. We're doing $4 for this one because we want to get it out there. We're also doing a cool $6 one where you can get the picture from the t-shirt. The picture on the t-shirt, which will be the PDF file, is that, and I've misplaced my son. I just gotta make sure he's not getting into trouble. So like I said, Jax is tired. All right, guys. I think that I'm gonna draw this video to a close because he just saw mommy leave and now he's upset, and that's heartbreaking. So I'm gonna let this video play. More than likely, we're gonna wrap the show up at this point, but definitely back Jax the Anderson's Kickstarter. He's usually a very good boy. He's just tired right now. And check this out.
In the not-so-distant future, Lexco presents Everything will be settled in the ring. Deal with. Roger. From the writers of BAM and C-listers. And for the artist of G.I. Joe vs. Cobra. Fight of the century. This comic book is not yet rated.
All right, guys. Jaxie needs daddy time. So, daddy job's got to come first always, so everyone understands and knows. This has been this week's Kickstarters list. You can find them all on Written Sins right now under the classy title of Set Off Fireworks on Kickstarter this July 4th week. You guys have been great. Thanks for hanging out with me. We're going to catch you probably next week because I'm on the road this week. I don't know if I'll have time for a weekend edition. I'll be live from the Virginia Comic Con. I'll see you there, YouTube audience.